Hey, Dano. Hey, neighbor. Just returning these wrenches to you. What is all that? Oh, yeah. Got myself a new project car here. Well, I was referring to your outfit, but yeah, that too. Oh, this? Yeah. Big Mopar guy. Big Mopar guy now. Oh, no kidding. Imagine that. Yeah, that's my new project car. 87 Plymouth Gran Fury. Okay. Wasn't in the market for a new project car, but couldn't dodge this one. Yeah. Yeah, for the little Chrysler, man. Yeah. Oh, got you a V8 there, huh? Yeah, it's got a 318 in it. That Mopar LA motor. You know, those little guys, they got that LS. Pfft, LA, man. LA all the way. Okay. Mopar or no car, man, you know what I'm saying? Okay, then. Yeah. Alrighty, well. Mopower! I'll be seeing you. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, see you later, man. Have a good one. Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Daninator channel. What in the world am I doing with the 1987 Plymouth Gran Fury? Good question. And you're probably thinking, Daninator, what are you thinking buying a Mopar? You're a GM guy. Well, yeah, I am a GM guy. But now, t-shirt shows you, big Mopar guy now. Big Mopar guy now. I hate to admit it, but I thought I would always consider buying I can't even say it, before I buy a Mopar. You lie! But here we are. I've always wanted to have a 80s four-door, boxy, rear-wheel drive V8 sedan. A hoopty, if you will. That's what my wife calls this thing. And yes, I would have liked to have had a Caprice. However, a lot of the cars that you find on Facebook Marketplace are a whole lot of nothing for a whole lot of money.
Yeah, he's right, you know.
And I started looking at Mopars, and this particular gem popped up in Missouri. You got a lot of car for a price that was in my budget, and this is what I ended up with. These cars, the Gran Fury and the Dodge Diplomat, were squad cars. Bad boys, what you want, what you gonna do? And that's what I want to do with this thing. I want to make my own police car tribute. So this gold bucket of nostalgia is going to end up being black and white and looking like this. My wife really actually likes this car. When she saw it for the first time, she's like, it's gold. I said, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm gonna paint it black and white, you know. She goes, why would you do that? Gold suits it, I like it.
What?
Caught me by surprise. She loves the color. She says it suits it. To me, the color is starting to grow on me a little bit, but I told her, I said, hey, if you want to keep this one gold, I'm gonna have to find another one. And she kind of looked at me like, well, you might just have to find another one. Just what I need, another Mopar and another car in the driveway. So that ain't gonna happen. This one's gonna be changed black and white. Now, if you're familiar with the M-body at all, this is the same as the Dodge Diplomat, like I said, and also the Chrysler New Yorker. Now, the Diplomat had different styles of grills throughout their run in the early to late 80s. And you had this style of grill, which is my favorite. And then you had the one that I consider the ugly grill, which has the turn signals above the lights. And then you have a thick chrome center grill section that I just didn't really particularly care for. So I was definitely looking for this front end style and was blessed to have found this. Me and my buddy Caleb, we took off for it one night, stayed with my brother, Thrillbilly, and then got up bright and early in the morning and hauled it to Pertinier, Oklahoma to pick this thing up. So if you want to see that adventure, check out this link right up here and you'll see that we had quite the adventure getting this thing home. So anyway, I've only driven it just a couple of times. I actually have not even had the time to really go through the car, but we're going to take a real close look at this car. We're going to get underneath this thing, look at the undercarriage. You'll see how good of a shape this thing is in. So anyway, let's get a closer look at this thing, starting by the condition of the exterior and the paint. It is a very low mileage car. It's got like 42,000 miles on it. I've put roughly 500 miles on it, basically mostly driving it home. The condition of this thing is really quite impressive. The front grille has no chips, breakage, anything. It is in really good shape. The only thing that's really kind of weird is this front headlight is actually kind of turned to the inside a little bit. I think there's a screw or a bracket or something that's busted. So driving this thing at night, this side of the car and the road gets illuminated pretty well because that side's helping out. Hood ornament's still there. That's my daughter's favorite part of the car. You see the front end, we've got some chips in the paint. Car needs a good bath. It's pretty dirty. So anyway, the hardware is all there. All the pieces are there. So in this game, that's a victory because that's half the battle. All right, going to the top of the car, you can see a pretty good sun-faded spot right there in the middle of the hood. And the paint in some areas looks like it's got some kind of staining on it. I am not a paint and body guy, so I couldn't even tell you what type of paint they used in the 80s. But going down the side, you can see there are some dings in the door. When we go to repaint this thing, it'll all be addressed. I believe the car was backed into, because that looks like Bondo or something that didn't get laid down very well or sanded. This looks like it's been repainted and the logo's missing. So going down the length of the car, it is in really good shape. The rear deck lid is doing the same thing, got some sun fade. So really the impressive thing about this is the top. There is no cracking. I think it might be faded in color just a little bit, but there's no cracking, peeling. So the top is in really good shape. And I hate to say that that's gonna get removed, but if I want this top to be white, I've gotta remove this vinyl. So that's kind of a bummer. I don't know if that's salvageable to where you could use that on another car, if I could sell it, I have no idea. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be driving like this for a little while. I'm gonna have to save up some money to get the body work done and the painting. So, all right, moving on to the driver's side fender. This is the worst condition of the paint. You got some pretty good flakage. You can see it's kind of cracking and peeling apart. It's flaking off. Again, with the flat tire on the way home, when it blew up, it took out my trim a little bit. I'm gonna have to fix my fender. It kind of bent that a little bit. Again, it took my Gran Fury logo off. Not real thrilled about that. You can see it kind of scratched the paint just a little bit when that tire blew up. But going down the length of the car, again, really good shape. A couple of dings here and there. Little paint chip there. Got some kind of a chip or a rub right there. Not sure what that is. Rear tires are in pretty decent, okay shape. I'm actually not going to keep this set up. I've got tires that I've ordered, and I've picked up a set of rims that are going to replace these 15x7 steel rims with another set of 15x7 steel rims, just a different style. Gas filler, pretty dirty around there, no big deal, but it's not rusted. That's the thing about this car, it is not rusty. And this little piece right here is pretty faded too. Taillights are in good condition, they're not cracked. However, there is some moisture behind the lens. So some paint rubbing here. I assume getting stuff in and out of the trunk has probably scratched that part. Bumper's in really good shape. There's a little bit of surface rust underneath, but that would clean up nice with some Brillo. This is one of my daughter's favorite parts in the whole car. That's how you get to the key for the trunk. Pretty cool. These old cars have some pretty nice character. Here's the Gran Fury logo. Wish I had two more of those for the front fenders. All right, so a little history of the car. It came out of Sherman, Texas. Now, from what I understand, the original owner didn't drive it terribly much, obviously. And I also think that it had sat for quite some time, actually, probably 10 or more years. And then his grandson purchased it. And that's how it ended up in Missouri, through the grandson. And the guy that I bought it from the grandson, and he only purchased it because he needed a little daily driver for him until his other car got repaired because it was involved in an accident. So when he got his other car back, he had no use for this one, so he sold it. Pretty much the history of the car, where it came from. So I'm the fourth owner of this Gran Fury. All right, let's head into the interior. Take a look at the door. There's supposed to be a logo right here. You can see the holes. It's supposed to say Salon. That's apparently the trim package. But you can see it's all intact. It's just, dirty. So we'll just need to clean that up. But what I think is interesting is these exposed screw heads. You see them all over the place, which I think is kind of funny. They do a pretty decent job of hiding those anymore. Everything, again, is rust-free. Got the rockers here. Quality engineered. Carpet is pretty stained. It's dirty, but you can see it is a low mileage car. The brake pedal's not all worn down to nothing. So I haven't even lifted the floor mats yet. Other than needing a pretty good vacuum, the carpet's still in pretty decent shape. The driver's seat, it's a little broken down on one end. The guy that sold it to me actually did something with the seat track. You can see it's further back than the passenger side. I think the passenger side, that's as far back as it goes. And then he did something with it, took it apart and re-welded it so he can move the seat back a little bit further. He was a pretty decently sized guy. All right, so taking a look at the dash, everything is mechanical. What you expect, I guess, from an 80s car. The headpiece for the radio has been replaced. 3-speed transmission. There's the defrost for the rear glass. You got some dummy lights. I don't know if I can read that. It says gate open, brake. I don't know, I can't read that. Anyway, alternator gauge, thermostat gauge. Speedometer goes to 85. That's the civilian car. The police cars had a gauge that I think went over 100. So that's how you know you got a cop car, if the gauge goes way over 100. Then we got the fuel gauge here, which I think is hilarious that you got one huge spot here for how much fuel you've got. You don't have RPM or anything. No, it's your fuel. Anyway, I put the key in it. And speaking of key, the key doesn't go in like that. It goes in what I consider as a GM guy, upside down. Threw me for a loop the first time I tried to start this thing. Anyway, key in. Let me show you this turn signal. Where do you think the turn signal bulb indicator is going to blink? Well, if you sit over here, you'd be right. Very weird to be sitting and have the left turn signal be on your physical right as you're driving. Very interesting. Here's the turn signal stick. It does have delay wipers, so that's nice. The only thing is that I wish it had is cruise control. There's the lights. You just pull that back and you've got headlights. Put it in one click and it's your parking lights, and then that's off. And then you adjust your interior lights by spinning the dial. And I wish it still had the stock radio in it, but oh well. So check out this glove box. I actually don't have a key to the rear trunk. In order to get in the trunk, I have to actually push the button here inside the glove box. The button right there. I actually haven't even gone through the glove box yet. Let's do that real quick. Those are my papers, but checking through the glove box. Okay, so it's just registration and insurance. All right, what is this? Customer Arbitration Board. What does that mean? The Customer Arbitration Board is composed of 3 voting members who are not affiliated with Chrysler Corporation or its dealers. These voting members serve in the capacity of public at large, consumer advocate, and technical expert. They will review your case once all documentation has been received at their next meeting, usually monthly. The Customer Arbitration Board reviews only service-related disputes involving Chrysler Corporation's limited warranty or a Chrysler Mopar part limited warranty on a Chrysler Corporation vehicle. Okay then, I wonder if this stuff is still in effect. I doubt it. All right, now what? 87 Plymouth Gran Fury Operation Manual. Chrysler Service Contracts. Interesting, what is this? Each wheel cover on this vehicle has anti-theft lock bolt. Found that out when I tried to change the tire on the side of the highway. I've got a key for that in the trunk. There is a Texas liability insurance card for State Farm Mutual, so it has the original owner's insurance policy on here. Denison, Texas is what is on here. Very interesting. So this definitely was the Texas car. All right. Well, there's a seat belt plastic trim. Some hard candy. I think that's the license plate bolts. So that's nice. There is a switch that looks like the window switch for the passenger door. Oh, there's the Elan for salon. That's supposed to go on the door. It is busted. The S is still on the passenger door, so that's where that came from. Remote control, I assume that's for the radio. Piece of gum, a bolt. Hopefully that doesn't go anywhere important. I think this goes around one of the door lock buttons. So we'll hang on to that. Got a fuse and the other logo. So that's everything out of the glove box. One thing I have noticed is this trim is peeling up and it's catching on the glove box door. See that? So another interesting thing is that's metal. I thought that was vinyl or something, but no, that is a metal dashboard. Taking a look at the trunk. There's the remnants of the adventure of driving home. It's always a fun reminder. We've got a cover that goes over the spare tire, so you're not looking at that unsightly thing. It's pretty cool. We've got utensils in here for some reason. I guess the previous owner went on a picnic. Oh, we got a busted spare light. This dude came in handy on the side of the road. I like those scissor jacks. That's actually pretty nice. There's the wrench for it. Let's see what else we got. We got a plug. And we've got screws. And a black rock. This is that special locking tool for the hubcaps. Don't ever want to lose that, folks. Oh, what's this? Oh, cup holder. That's actually really nice because there are no cup holders in this car. Actually, I think there are, but they're in a spot where you would not want one. That's pretty nice. I'll clean that up and put that to use. I think the cup holders, yeah, there's actually spots here to put cups, which they're not holders, more or less cup suggestions, maybe. Other than needing a good vacuum, the trunk area is actually very nice. Let me show you down here where it kind of matters. There is no rust to be found, and that is fantastic. No rust to be found. It does look like we have a little bit of moisture. I'm not sure what that is. Look at that. The trunk is solid. We got a little bit of moisture. I wonder if we got a little bit of a leak around the trunk seal. Yep, that is definitely wet. We've had quite a bit of rain the last couple of days. It's a pretty heavy rain. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. We're working with a pretty solid car. So yeah, we've got an electric trunk release, and the lock cylinder is right there. You can see the tail of it. You can get those for, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks. So we're gonna put a new lock cylinder here so I can get in and out of my trunk without having to open the glove box. All right, so move this floor mat out of the way. It's kind of falling apart, but there's a wire in it to keep it stiff. Oh, I'll probably just pull that out because it looks kind of rusty. That's the original floor mat. Still in pretty good condition other than the wire coming out of it. Yeah, carpet looks good. Oh, look at there, I'm making money. There's 2 cents, 3 cents. All right, now I'm gonna take a look under the seat. I have yet to look under here. What? Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was gonna have to make a phone call. I found something under the seat.
FBI, open up!
It is a pellet variety. I thought for sure I was gonna have to report something. Anyway, just a toy. Hey, we got a Taco Bell guy. My kind of guy. Empty water bottle. We got here motor oil, electrical tape, medicine cup. Oh, found another penny. Boy, I am just rolling in it. How far is this? Boy, you'd have to be really short to want to sit like that. How far back does this go? That's as far as it goes. No treasures here, folks. Just trash. Dollar General receipt for a cherry Coke and an adjustable rake. The guy prided himself on a yard without leaves, I guess. All right, let's take a peek underneath the driver's side. Oh, I found another penny. Looks like we got a banking receipt. Oh, he only had $95.87 in his account. We have a charging cable box, candy wrapper, a Walmart receipt. I can't tell what it is that he bought, but it was $61.33. Good thing it wasn't 95 or he wouldn't have enough money in his account. Oh, now we're talking big money here, folks, big money. Just found a quarter. I think I see a dime. I do see a dime. Oh, looks like we got some chapstick with no cap. Hawaiian Tropic. To each their own, I guess. Well, that looks like that's about it. Honestly, I was hoping I'd find like a $20 bill like I found in the old Failblazer when I first bought it. Couldn't get that lucky this time. The driver's side window does not come down. That's something I need to fix. All right, we got a pretty good stain on this floor mat. That's gonna be tough to get up, but that's an original floor mat. Gas ticket, oh, 2 dimes. Well, this guy must have had holes in his pockets. Well, there's another nickel and a dime. So again, the interior is in really good shape as far as the physical condition of it. It does need a pretty good cleaning and some stain removal. And you can see here where the seat belt was in the sun quite a bit and where it was maybe folded over. That's actually a dark gold compared to this, which is a light gold. So the interior has been sun beat. Now the front dashboard was metal, and I was kind of hoping this would be the same case for back here. Looks like some kind of heavy duty cardboard or something. So the headliner is still intact, which is amazing because a lot of the cars that I was looking at online, the headliner was not up, and that fabric over that sail panel right there was down on a lot of them too. So yeah, the interior is in pretty good shape. I cannot complain. All right, so that's the exterior and the interior. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine. There she is, the 318 in all its glory. Not a whole lot of power. Like, I tried doing a standing burnout with this thing. I think one, it doesn't have a whole lot of power, and two, the rear brakes are so snug that it has a tough time breaking loose and spinning the tires. Although it was possible, I got that one wheel peel going. Let's take a look at the oil. See, it's in pretty good shape. Good amber color. Transmission's got all new fluid in it because I leaked it out when I removed the drive shaft when I towed this thing home. So one big issue that this car has is the power steering. I don't know if I've got a bad seal or what, but it was basically puking power steering whenever you fill it. It probably needs a whole new pump or maybe just a seal and like rebuild kit. So I did pull this spark plug the other day and it was in good shape, and they all actually look like new spark plugs. We're good there. We've got a leak of something up here, an oil leak somewhere, or the thermostat housing's leaking and that's coolant. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe we've got valve cover gaskets that need to be replaced or something like that. If you remember, this thing was making a pretty interesting rattling noise. So as you heard there, pretty significant rattle noise. So we got to get that figured out. I'm not sure what this hose is here, but it's busted open, so I have to probably replace that. It's got this electronic fuel control system, which I think they call lean burn or something. There's all kinds of vacuum lines and stuff that, as a GM guy and a more modern car owner, so I don't understand how some of this stuff works. I'm sure that this was all good back in the 80s. Prior to any vacuum leaks or any kind. So I actually don't know how well this lean burn system works. I've seen a few videos on these motors. It seems like the vast majority of everyone just removes it. So that's probably what we're gonna go ahead and do here. I do notice that when the car first starts up in the mornings, or if after it's been sitting for a while, there's a pretty significant richness to it. Tailpipe kind of smells like gas. I don't know if that's just a carburetor thing or if this thing is running rich and I need to adjust the carburetor. Don't know. Never owned a car with a carburetor before. The brake master looks like it might be a replacement. This thing has incredibly good brakes. I'll show you that. So you can see that that rear driver's side wheel just locks up quickly. You want to adjust the brakes on this thing so I'm not kissing the steering wheel or the windshield every time I hit the brake. And I want to be able to do burnouts and not have brakes that are too tight and burn through some brake shoes too quick. It has a new fuel filter. It's got a new mechanical fuel pump. Really anything else new other than the spark plugs. And the guy told me he had some carburetor work done to it. What was done, I don't know. We've got the stock manifolds. I'd like to put a set of headers on here. I've done some research and nobody sells Gran Fury or Dodge Diplomat headers. So if I go to summitracing.com or something and type in my car, nothing comes up for headers. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is find what headers fit on other chassis and see if it'll fit in here. If anybody has any idea what headers go well on this, I'm all ears. Let me know in the comments. I would like to maybe get a new intake, do a 4-barrel carburetor, because this is a 2-barrel carburetor. Get rid of the lean burn system, get rid of the smog, and they just really choke these motors. Put on a set of headers, maybe find a set of heads off of, like, I don't know, a Magnum engine out of a Dakota or a Ram or something. Again, even though I'm a big Mopar guy now, I don't know anything about them. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of research. I just noticed I might be missing a vacuum line right there. Okay. Okay, there's a vacuum line that goes to nowhere. Ugh. So anyway, there's some work to do under here. Figure out what's what, fix whatever's not connected, and then remove anything that's just not wanted or needed. All right, so let's take a look under the skirt. Just want to get the front wheels off so we can get a pretty good look underneath this thing. So again, we got to use a special tool to get the hubcap off. See, that holds pretty stinking snug. All right, again, very impressive as far as the rust goes, because really there isn't any. Definitely a southern car. I'm gonna have to re-grease these ball joints. I think I'm getting a pretty good squeak out of them. These upper control arm bushings look pretty shot. So I think bushings and ball joints are in order. And if you notice right here, this is why my car is all over the road, left and right, and a lot of slop in the steering wheel when I drive it. That's not good. I do have a little spot of oil on the patio. Okay, that's coming from up there. Hopefully it's not a rear main seal. As far as the brakes go, it looks like I could probably go for some new brake pads. So you can definitely see all the power steering fluid that's come out of this thing. Yep. So it's interesting, this bar right here is actually the front torsion bar, or the spring for the front suspension. And this one goes to the driver's side. Pretty interesting design. Looks like a little tiny bit of surface rust underneath the front bumper. A Scotch pad should clean that up. So you can see down in here, there's my catalytic converter. So I think this is part of the smog setup. As you can see down through here, there is not a lick of rust anywhere down this thing. The brake lines all look good. I had some transmission fluid kind of spilling up underneath the bottom of the car as well. It was a leaky ride home. Coming down through here, there's the muffler. A little bit of surface rust on the rear springs, not terrible. Looks like the rear differential might have a little leak on the cover. Again, down through there, boy, it is solid and rust-free. See what looks like little drip marks? That's all the factory undercoating, and it's all still intact and it's rust-free. The gas tank still has all that undercoating on it. Tailpipe, it's a skinny little thing. A little bit of surface rust here and there. Nothing horrible. We might have to get new shocks. I can live with it for now. 35-year-old, virtually rust-free, low-mileage car. It's not perfect. It does have some needs. Not a major overhauls needed. So I think what I want to do now is take the hubcaps off and run with these steel wheels, just to kind of give a little idea of what this car will look like in its cop setup with these black steel wheels. Forgot the security screw. Here you guys were watching me do this, you never said anything.
Help a guy out.
No, that one's 100% on me. Wow, look how much easier that was. Oh my goodness, wow. Pop that back into place, good grief. Everything looks good inside the drum. Nice and smooth, no ridges. Pads look great. Shoes look really good. No complaints. Drum looks fantastic. I mean, I wish the brakes didn't catch so quickly as they do. At least we've got brakes. If you're gonna have brakes, I guess you'd rather have them be real good than not very good. You know what I mean? Well, it's almost dark, about supper time. And it's about 50 degrees outside, so I'm gonna do what any sensible person would do, and I'll wash the car real quick. All right, she cleans up nice. A little on the fence with the white walls, but I think it looks pretty cool without the hubcaps. It kind of gives it that rat rod vibe. And it's kind of leaning towards a squad car look. I think it'd be kind of cool to run it like this without the hubcaps. I did pick up a set of new tires. I've got some Kinergy ST by Hankook. Went with a 225/75 R15. This car is supposed to take a 205/75 15, but I wanted a little wider profile tire. I did a little research. I found like an all information type thing for the M body. They had various different tire profiles that will fit on this thing, ones that are really tight, and then ones that, you know, won't. So the 235, I think they said, was cutting it really close. So just went with the 225, which said it fit. So we're gonna go with those. So I did pull all of the hubcaps off, but we've got a little bit more we can do to give this thing a proper police car look. And I'll show you what I just picked up today. And that's dog dish center cap hubcaps. That looks pretty sweet. Again, minus the white wall, this thing looks pretty good. But there's one more thing we can do to give this thing a squad car look, and that is to pick up a different set of rims. Check this out. Ta-da! Actual police car rims. These are original Mopar 15x7 steel rims for the patrol cars and the taxis and whatever. I've got two of them that have been sandblasted. You can see they didn't coat it or anything, and it's starting to surface rust, so it shouldn't be too bad to clean that up. I do have one more down here that's been sandblasted and coated. I don't know if it's powder coat or if it's paint, not sure, but that one's halfway decent. So again, with these wider profile tires and these rims and those dog dish hubcaps, this thing is going to be looking right. And then I end up with two that actually have rubber on them. This one actually does not hold any air whatsoever. It leaks air out of the sidewall. But one of them did hold air, and I've got the dog dish on there, and this is really the look we're going for. Cannot beat that with the stick. That is the squad car look we're going for. Now, those hubcaps are for the civilian car, not the patrol car, because the patrol car actually had 10 holes on the center cap. I've got to either drill holes in those to make it look like the cop car center cap, or put circle stickers on there, or paint circles on there to give it that illusion that it's been drilled. We'll figure that out eventually, but this is the look we're going for. And I think it's turning out pretty sweet. Almost forgot. Big Mopar guy now. Big Mopar guy now. A couple things. I also picked up this Haynes repair manual off of eBay. This puppy is still in the plastic. And also, I'm going to take this Rust-Oleum high performance enamel, and with that spare tire that I had on here, the snow tire, you can see it's got little raised spots where there's lettering on the side of the tire. I want to take this paint and white letter my tires just to see how it holds up, just for kicks, and then put that tire back on the car with that dog dish center cap on there and see what white letter tires would look like on this thing. If I mess it up, I don't care. It's going in the trunk eventually anyway. Well, we got ourselves a very solid car here, folks. The rockers look good. There's no massive rust. When I was washing the car, I did notice what I think to be particles of rust coming out from underneath this back sail panel right here, underneath the vinyl top. So the underside of that vinyl top and the roof might be in pretty rough condition. We'll see eventually when we go to take the top off that thing to paint the center section of this car white. Well, now having gone through this thing from bumper to bumper, I've got myself a pretty good list of parts that I need to get ordered for this thing. And of course, we got to do something about this exhaust system. This thing sounds like a sewing machine. We're going to have to make this thing sound a little bit more aggressive by cutting off that muffler and putting on like a cherry bomb glass pack or maybe a Flowmaster Super 10 or something. But we've got to liven this thing up in the noise department, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. All right, well, it's going to wrap up today's video. Be sure and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I post new content, especially the content about the new project car, our Golden Girl here. So I want to thank you for watching. As always, God bless. Be sure and hit that like switch on your way out, and we'll see you next time.